Hey everybody, I would like to show you guys how to incorporate tables and figures into your research papers. So here I've taken the outline example that I provided when you guys were doing your outlines and the levels of headings, etc. So you can see all the levels of headings here. I'm going to scroll down to the first level of heading that I have put text in, because this is where the example table is going to come in. Here you can see a level 3 heading. It's tabbed over like a paragraph, and all of the letters are lowercase, followed by a period. Now the text immediately follows this period in a level 3 heading. So this text discusses the anatomy and physiology of the 5 lobes of the cerebral cortex. And I'm going to scroll down here. Now I've highlighted I've highlighted where table 1 is. You're not going to do that in your research papers, but I did just so I know that I have put a table here. So basically these areas of function are intertwined to provide the correct interpretation of stimuli and appropriate response as listed in table 1. So here I have referenced table 1 within the text. So this indicates to the reader that there is a table at the end of this paper that is going to explain more in detail the stimuli and appropriate response of the cerebral cortex lobes. Now to find this table, the table is located after the references section. And it's labeled tables and figures as a level 1 heading, which means it's centered and bolded and each proper noun is capitalized. Now, because I have indicated that a table is first, I'm going to label this tables and figures. If I illustrated a figure first within the text, I would say figures and tables. So here you can see the proper format for a table. Here it says table 1, it's flush left. It doesn't have any sort of formatting. It's not centered or bolded or italicized. It's just regular text, flush left. And here is the caption for this table. Now the caption is italicized and it is also flush left. So I made this table in Word. It's a Word document table and it's really easy to do. Basically you just go to Insert, Table, and choose how many cells you want. So here there are two cells. And this says the lobes of the brain. You can see the lobes of the brain and then their corresponding function, and you can see the function. So that is for table 1. Now I'm going to go back up to the text. And here you can see a level 1 heading, centered and bolded. Each letter is capitalized. And this paragraph discusses what is in this level 1 heading, which is another main topic of the thesis statement. And down here you can see table 2 in parentheses. So the following sections will discuss the characteristics of FDG that make it a valuable radiopharmaceutical. And I didn't say as indicated in table 1, I just put it, or table 2, I just put it in parentheses. So either way, as long as you reference your table within the text. So this indicates to the reader that there is another table that will discuss the characteristics of F18FDG. So I'm going to go down past the references section, past table 1. Now each table and each figure need to be on its own separate page. So you just go Insert Page Break and begin table 2. Again, you can see that it's flush left. It's not bolded, centered, or capitalized, or bolded, centered, or italicized, just regular text, flush left. Now here's the caption, and the caption should be italicized. So there you go, physical and biological characteristics of the radiopharmaceutical F18FDG. Again, this is another table created in Word. Just insert table, and then choose however many cells you want. And here you can see that there are, 2 columns and, quite a few rows. But basically you just want to make it look pretty, you know, make sure everything's centered, what you want to be bolded is bolded, and just make it look nice. So that is how you format tables. They're pretty simple, not too much involved with that. Okay, so here is another level 1 heading indicating another main topic of the thesis statement. And I'm going to scroll down here to this level 3 heading, image examples. And you can see here that I have referenced figure 1 within the text, indicating to the reader that there is a figure down below in the tables and figures sections that illustrates PET MRI neuroimaging for a patient diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy. So now I'm going to go down here after the first table, after the second table, and down to the figure. Okay, so formatting for a figure is a little bit more involved than formatting for a table. The first thing that you need to know is that every figure needs a title. So this title is centered and bolded, and each letter, each proper noun is capitalized. PET MRI neuroimaging for patient diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy. And then the caption for the figure and the figure number go below your actual figure. So here you can see that the figure and the number, the word figure and the number is italicized. Before, the table and the number is just plain text. But here for figures, it's italicized and it's followed by a period. Immediately following this italicized figure number is the caption. So here you can see the caption. Now this caption should basically tell you exactly what is in this figure, and you shouldn't have to question anything about this figure. It should all be right here in the caption if you write a pretty good caption. So here I've said PET MRI fusion images indicating left temporal lobe hypometabolism and functional deficit zone. Image orientation from left to right is axial, sagittal, which is the left hemisphere sagittal, and coronal. So these are the image orientations, or basically where the slices are taken of the brain. Now I have A. This is the MRI scan of the brain. B, which isn't here. So now I need to show you how to make B, and it's really easy. You just insert text box, draw text box, and then you can draw it wherever you want. And then I'm going to put B, and I'm going to make that bold, bigger, and centered. And I'm also going to move it over a little bit so it's in line with this A. Now I need to do that again for this row of images so that it matches the other row of images. Insert, text box, draw text box. Ooh, and this one made it nice and big for me. C, bolded, bigger, and centered. And I'm just going to shrink this up so it matches the other ones. And a little more. And move it over. There, now they're all, you know, nice and in line. Actually, this one's not. Okay, there we go. So now they're all in line, and now we have row A, row B, and row C, and that corresponds to A, MRI scan of the brain, B, PET scan of the brain, and C, PET MRI fusion of the brain. Now, because I've said this indicates left temporal lobe hypometabolism and functional deficit zone, I'm not showing that anywhere on these pictures. So if you were not a radiologist or, you know, a nuclear technologist, you wouldn't know where to look. So to do that, let's see, I'm going to do insert picture, and we'll choose star. And I'm going to draw a star here where the temporal lobe is. So now, you know, if I were a reader looking at this, I would say, oh, there's the temporal lobe. And I would also note that, you know, this area of the brain has FDG metabolism, but this area of the brain does not. Therefore, it's hypometabolism, considered a functional deficit zone, and this is where the location of the temporal lobe epilepsy is. And I also need to do that for the, oops, sorry, for the fusion images. Insert shapes, star, in there. So basically you want your caption to, be succinct, but also you want it to describe everything that is in the figure and where the reader can locate these items within the figure. So since I put a star here, I actually would want to say as indicated by the star, or something along those lines. Make it a little bit more scientific tone-wise, but that's good for now. A lot of times when readers read journals, they go to the figures and tables first, and they look at that, and you can get a lot of information from a figure and table, and it saves time if you don't want to read the whole paper, if the paper's like 15 pages and you just want to get a generalized, idea of what the paper's about and what the results are. Also, if your figures and tables are awesome and amazing, then it's going to make the reader want to read the paper and go back and read the paper. Okay, so next, here I have to reference where I got these images from. And I say that I've adapted from University Hospitals Case Medical Center, Cleveland, Ohio, Nuclear Medicine Department, 2011. Now, I made these images myself, so I didn't get it from a journal or anything. However, most of you will get your images or figures from a journal, so I'm going to show you how to adapted from how to reference a journal or a figure from a journal. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to pretend that I got that figure down here from, let's say I got it from this journal. So what I'm going to do is erase, University Hospitals, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to copy and paste there we go, that's what I wanted. I'm going to copy and paste that journal here, just so I have all of the information in front of me. But the whole format is going to change. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is say adapted from, type adapted from. The next thing you need to do is begin a quotation mark. And following this quotation mark, you are going to put the title of the journal. And the title here is Epilepsy, the Future Scenario, comma, and your quotation marks. Now notice how the title here is different than the title in your references. In the references, none of the letters are capitalized except for the first letter of the first word in the heading and the subheading. But here, every first letter is capitalized. Now you're going to follow the title by the author, so you want to say by, and the author's first name first, last name last, H.V. Srinivas. I'm going to leave Srinivas there because it's already there, comma, and then you'll put the year, and the year is not in parentheses, notice. And I'm going to get rid of all of this because I've already included it. And a comma to separate the year from the journal. Now the journal name stays the same. The journal name is italicized. The volume number is italicized, and they both have commas there. And then you want to indicate which page you found this figure on. So you're going to indicate it with P period, and say I found this on page 3. Page 3. And period. So notice how the format is completely different from your reference format. This is specifically for if you were referencing your journal that you got that figure from, the figure or table from, and this is the format you would use. Adapted from, the title in quotation marks, comma, the author's first name, last name, comma, the year, comma, the journal name, italicized, comma, volume number, comma, and page number, period. Now the other thing that you have to remember with the figure is you want the figure to be in a box. Everything has to be all boxed and all nice and pretty. And there are a couple ways to do that. The first way you can do that is to insert a text box. Draw the text box, you know, like this. But if you put the figure there first and then you draw the text box after, then you have to make sure that you're only seeing this line here. Otherwise you won't see any of this information. So the way to do that is to right click on the text box, order, and send behind text. And then that'll bring your figure up. Now the next way you could do that is insert a shape. And you could just insert, you know, a rectangle. And I'll put that right here so you guys can see. Now see how it just blinds that out? So what I need to do is right click, order, send behind text. Oh, right click, order, send backward. Why isn't this working? Right click, order. There we go, send to back. Right click, order, send to back. And now it's back here behind and you can't see it because of this text box. But in any case, when you do this, you have to make sure that you know, everything is all nice and in this box, and you have to make sure that you can see whatever's inside of this box. Or if you have a better way to do it, you know, do it that way. So that is how you incorporate tables and figures and then the specific formats for tables and figures into your papers. Now there's another thing I want to show you, a couple of citation examples. Here you can see as dictated by Dr. P. Faulhaber, Personal Communication, January 4th, 2011. Now this is an example of a personal communication. I'm not sure if I included that on the APA citations PowerPoint that I gave you guys, but this is basically how you do if you were to receive an email from somebody or something that's not, you know, some sort of communication, you know, you had an interview, etc. Now this is not in your references section. The only time you'll see Dr. P. Faulhaber is under personal communication, and then the exact date that you received this personal communication via email, or you know, you just talked to somebody. So that's an example of a citation for personal communication. Here is an example of two sources in one citation. Here you can see last name, ampersand, last name, 2005. This is one source. And Wagner, 2002, this is another source. And they're separated by the semicolon. And here is an example of a long quotation. Now long and short quotations are different in that long quotations are more than 40 words. So if it's more than 40 words, then it's considered a long quotation. And to figure that out, you just highlight it, highlight your quote, and you can come down here and it says 56 words. 56 words. So this is considered a long quotation. Now the format for a long quote is as follows. You introduce the source, Merriam and Hone, 2008, followed by the year. This is considered a citation. State the normal or the neuronal flow of information is as follows, and then a semicolon, or I'm sorry, a colon. Now the quote that you're using is going to go in its own text box, basically, tabbed over, and all in a row, all nice and neat here. So this is the quote. At the end of the quote, you see a period followed by page number in parentheses and no period. And then you begin, you know, the rest of your paragraph or finish with the rest of your paragraph under that. So for anything more than 40 words, it goes in its own section. You introduce the source first and you include the page number. And here this quote must have gone from one page to the other because I have 95 to 96. And I think that's it. I think that finishes off this tutorial. So let me know if you guys have any questions. And I hope that I have demonstrated how to incorporate tables and figures into your research paper. And you also got a little bonus citation examples out of that. So I'm going to post this, and I'm also this audio presentation, and I'm also going to upload just this outline so you guys have it for reference. All right, thank you very much.